Hello! In today's tutorial I'm going to be explaining innate immunity in more detail. The innate immune system is our body's natural defence system, and this means that it's present at birth, and it can also be referred to as the non-specific immune system, because although it can recognise the presence of non-self targets, it cannot identify specific pathogens like the adaptive immune system can. So the first line of defence is made up of physical and chemical barriers. This is things such as our epithelial barriers or our skin. So as simple as it may seem, this is actually a very integral part of our innate immune system. It acts as a large protective barrier around the whole body to try and stop pathogens from entering into our body in the first place. Other physical barriers are our mucosal membranes. So these are basically the membranes that line all of our inner cavities, such as our respiratory tract, our digestive tract, and our urinary and reproductive tracts. And as well as providing physical protection against pathogens, they tend to also contain many chemical barriers as well. For example, we have enzymes in our saliva and our tears which protect against bacteria. Our skin is also full of peptides called defensins, which can kill a wide range of pathogens. And our stomach is full of bile acid, which is there to basically kill off any pathogens that might end up there. If, however, a pathogen is able to breach the first line of defence, then our second line of defence will become activated. And these are our innate immune cells. And these innate immune cells can fall into different categories based on their function. For instance, neutrophils, which are the most abundant white blood cell, making up over 60% of our total white blood cell count, and usually the first immune cell to arrive at the site of infection, are known as phagocytes. Essentially, this means that they have the ability to engulf pathogens. However, they are also known as granulocytes because they store cytotoxic proteins within them, which can be released when they come into contact with a pathogen. So the fact that these proteins are pre-stored in granules means that the response can be much faster because the cell isn't having to generate all of these proteins from scratch. Another type of phagocyte is a macrophage. These cells are larger and they tend to live much longer than neutrophils. They're also known as professional phagocytes, which tend to be tissue resident, meaning that they mainly reside in tissue rather than patrol the blood. So as well as engulfing pathogens, macrophages also engulf our own dead cells and any cellular debris, and essentially this just helps to keep our body nice and clean. Other types of granulocytes include mast cells, eosinophils, and basophils, and these cells are much rarer than neutrophils, and they're important in both host defense against pathogens but also in allergy responses. The contents of the granules change depending on the cell, but generally they release things such as histamine. So if you've got hay fever, you probably have to take antihistamines, and essentially it's to try and dampen down the response of some of these granulocytes. Another cell of the innate immune system is a dendritic cell, and with macrophages, these cells are known as antigen-presenting cells. So basically they bridge the gap between innate and adaptive immunity. So basically they engulf pathogens, break them down, and then present a very small portion of this pathogen on the surface of what's known as an MHC molecule to the adaptive immune system to try and trigger a response from the adaptive immune system. I will explain this in much more detail in a future tutorial, but that's just a quick brief overview. And then finally, our innate immune system also includes natural killer cells. So these are slightly different from the other innate cells because they don't directly kill pathogens, and instead their job is to kill our own cells which have been infected with either a virus or become cancerous. Okay, so to summarise, the innate immune system is our natural immune system, meaning it's there from birth. It's a non-specific but extremely rapid response. And it's actually the innate immune response which can lead to inflammation and fever. And I will again be explaining these two things in much more detail in a future tutorial. If you liked my video, then please keep an eye out for my future videos and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.